Hello friends, anybody new visiting my channel, a big welcome to you, and if you enjoy this video please subscribe and come back for more. I'm noticing that quite a large percentage of my viewers are not actually subscribed, so maybe I can ask you to do that, please. I went to a funeral this morning, a very old friend, and known him forever, and he got dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever it was diagnosed at, about 5 years ago, and he died, and it was his funeral this morning. But quite selfishly, in the funeral, I found myself feeling upset. Now, nobody was really terribly emotional at the funeral because the last 5 years had been awful for him, and it was just a happy release that he'd finally just peacefully died. But I found myself thinking of other people that I'd lost. You might recall I lost my niece a few years ago, and then just a year after that my nephew, and all people came to mind, and I looked around and I think quite a few people were feeling the same. And I suppose, does that happen to you at funerals too? Especially if it's somebody, an elderly person, and I'm not making less of a death of a parent. It's just awful to lose your parent. But, you know, as I say, in this particular instance, it was a happy release. But I was listening to the priest talking, and I suppose this is going to be controversial, but what do you think? He was talking about how this old gentleman was now going to join his wife and everybody else that he had known in heaven because he was such a good man. They never talk about a bad man or woman at a funeral, do they? They're always good people. But anyway, he's gone off to heaven to join them, and also spoke about how wonderful it must be for them to look down and see their children and their grandchildren thriving in life, and how wonderful it must be for them in heaven to do that. Now, not everybody's families are thriving. Personally, I would hate to think my mum and dad had been looking down on us and seeing the trauma that my extended family have gone through. I mean, we've just gone through an awful time in the last few years. Now, if my mum was looking down on my dad, they would feel so sad. Then heaven's not a place of perfect happiness then. So I don't really understand that. Everyone believes what they believe, but this is something that really just confuses me. I've also been to funerals where I've actually known the person and known that they weren't a very nice person in life. In fact, they were a bit of a nasty piece of work. And once again, the minister or the priest stood there and spoke about him and how he would be blessed and how God would welcome him into heaven regardless of how he'd lived his life. Well then, why are some people bothering to be good and kind and help others. I mean, look at how some people devote their whole lives to helping others. Mother Teresa. Why are some people bothering to do that? While the rapists are obviously fine, just they've got the same entrance. I don't know, I don't understand all of this. And I hope I don't cause too much controversy by putting out this video, but I'd love to hear some comments. Maybe help me get a bit of clarity on this. Another thing I often wonder about, some really nasty people live to an old age and they just get away with being nasty to people and unkind. And children die. Is there a reason for that? I've heard the saying, well, we've got free will, but a child doesn't really have free will. A child is under the care of its parents, if the parents are caring for it at all. And I just wonder why things are allowed to happen to children and to elderly people. Oh my goodness. People are not able to take care of themselves and nasty things happen to them. So here I am with lots and lots of questions this morning, and I'm hoping that you take this in the spirit in which I'm making the video, not contradicting anybody's faith. If that is what you believe, then I'm so pleased for you. I wish somebody could explain to me how the good and the bad go to heaven, but yet there's supposedly a hell. Well, who is there? Because if all these bad people are getting forgiven, yeah. So let's hope this starts a conversation that we can all join in on, and let's keep it kind and friendly. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to me. If you're still here, thank you so much. Bye for now.